All right, let's get into the news. So, I'm going to start off with FromSoftware, as we've been talking about Dark Souls and everything else quite a bit. FromSoftware is working on multiple projects across various genres. So, um, let's see here. Yeah, there's really not much to this. So, the president and CEO Hidetaka Miyazaki said in a media interview after Shadow of the Erdtree won the Grand Award at PlayStation Partner Awards 2024 Japan Asia. We have multiple projects in the works across a variety of genres. There are titles directed by me, as well as titles directed by those other than myself. In that regard, I think we'll be able to show you a new FromSoftware in a variety of ways, so please look forward to it. The one thing I do want to add to that is I saw a separate story, which I didn't send to you. More, just, I saw the headline that they basically said that Elden Ring 2 is not in the works, and they don't know when that would happen. So that would be a project that's not currently being worked on, which makes sense considering they just launched Shadow of the Erdtree, and they've probably been working on other stuff in the meantime. So, what are your thoughts?
This is definitely interesting. I mean, it's definitely interesting hearing that they're going to branch into other stuff, especially considering the fact that they're mainly known for currently mainly known for essentially one thing and one type of thing alone. Granted, something I was just curious about, so I was looking at some of the back history of some of other games. Within the past maybe 5 or so years ago, they worked on this one sort of game series. I can't remember what it was, like a Monster Hunter game, but it was like a side story kind of game. Seems like it was only released in Japan, and it was for I think the Vita, and one title was for the Vita and the other one was for the 3DS. And it was sort of like, I can't remember what genre it was, but I think it was like, I can't remember if it was like some sort of role-playing game or if it was like, I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't like your typical sort of, Soulsborne type of game. So that definitely was interesting. I mean, I know of course they've done other types of games like Armored Core, which
Right.
while the latest one kind of has some, I guess you could say, borrows a little bit of Souls-like elements that we know. The original ones definitely weren't that way. They were more just directly action-based, which also is another thing. They made another game some years ago called Metal Wolf Chaos, which is like another mecha type of game, which, from what I can tell based on the gameplay I've seen, I mean, I have the game, but I haven't played it yet, is that it is less of a Armored Core type of game and sort of more of just an mission action based. I mean, Armored Core is mission based, especially the older ones, but this one definitely was different. So I am interested in seeing what types of other stuff they can do. And like one thing I kind of would like them to do, I don't think this is something they will return to, but considering the fact that they returned to Armored Core, I would like them to go back and maybe either continue or remake their Kingsfield games, considering the fact that those games were essentially the original Dark Souls that they made. So I mean, so, considering the fact that was like the originator, I would just like to see that game either have them remake the original ones or just try to like do what they did with Armored Core and just make a new entry completely. Right. I would be very interested in that, especially, I mean, because of the fact that, for one thing, I feel like it would be very different, especially if you have this sort of Souls-like game, considering the fact that it's in first person, like how much more difficult that could possibly be because you can't see everything that's going on around you. I would find that very interesting to play, so I would like them to go back to that. As far as other genres they could go into, one game that I saw on the list was, it said it was an adventure game, but just based on the description, it sounded more like it was kind of like a horror game. I would be interested in seeing something like that come back. I can't remember what the game was even called. Man, I wish I wrote down the list of the games I saw, but that would be something I'm interested in. I mean, just for giggles, if they decide to say, we're gonna make Bloodborne Kart, and making like an official one that's like, probably just using the current Bloodborne assets and stuff like that. Just for fun, I would be interested in seeing that come back. Seeing them make that would be funny. But other than that though, I'm not entirely certain what other types of games they would make. I really feel like it would be somewhat relative to what games they've put out within their history. So whether it's just, a Souls like, which I really expect to see more of, maybe an action based game like. I doubt they'll make something directly like this again, but they had a game that was on Xbox 360 called, it was called something Blade. I know the game panned because it was not one of their best games, but if they have just like a simple action-based game, that would be pretty cool to have. And again, also like with Metal Wolf Chaos, something like that is sort of maybe a mecha game, but isn't hardcore. They could do something like that, and I wouldn't mind if they made another Armored Core game as well. So I'm very interested in seeing what they have. I believe that FromSoftware is at a point where they can just put out decent games, and even if it's not the best game currently, it's still something that will be pretty satisfying. So I think I have a pretty healthy healthy anticipation of what they'll do.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely am curious to see what all is going to be coming. It would not surprise me in the least if they are bringing back Kingsfield. Though I think more likely than not, my guess would be that they would do a new game. Considering the fact that, they just Armored Core 6. And, Armored Core has been going since the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. And, Kingsfield, I think that was original PlayStation, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and of course I saw that there are some games on PS2 as well, some more Kingsfield games, so I'm curious about that one. I need to actually look into that. Like, I had heard of it, but I'd never played it, never seen any gameplay, so I need to just look that up, see what it looks like. Because I know that like the Moonlight Greatsword is in that one. It's going as far back as that, so that's something I'm definitely curious about. But I want to look into it. But yeah, I think that at least just based on my random guesses, I'm gonna guess that there is another Dark Souls being made. Probably have Dark Souls 4 coming. Who knows when, but it's probably something they're working on, because if they're working on a bunch of projects, there's no way they would not be working on another Dark Souls. They haven't. It's been 8 years, almost 9 years since the last Dark Souls came out, and they know it will sell without question, especially after Elden Ring. Elden Ring was what convinced me to give Dark Souls another chance. Well, to give it an actual chance, because before that, I'd only tried Demon Souls and it turned me off very quickly. But because of Elden Ring, grabbing my interest, and then at the time not being able to play it portably because I didn't have my Steam Deck yet, that was what convinced me to give Dark Souls a try, and what made me get obsessed with the game. And now, Dark Souls 3. But yeah, I'd say very likely we'll see another Dark Souls. Kingsfield, it would make sense for them to make a new game. And then, potentially another Sekiro. Sekiro obviously was rated very, very highly. Won Game of the Year. Not that Game Awards really matters all that much, but it did win Game of the Year. They've already said they're not doing Elden Ring 2 right now, so it'll be a while before that, and that's really not surprising. But yeah, there's all sorts of different things they could do. I'm curious, and I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled. I hope that from the sounds of it, you're gonna have some good variety in there, and it's not just gonna be Souls likes, which is good, because I think it's good to have some variety. I definitely want to see what else they have, but I will be watching out for sure, without question.
Indeed.
All right. That's all my thoughts. You got anything else?
Well,
Go for it.
I will. I guess I'll put it like this. Just from what I've heard, based on the ending of the final DLC for Dark Souls 3, I don't know if we'll actually get a Dark Souls 4.
Fair
just
enough.
because of the way it ended.
Okay. Fair enough.
Just because how it ends is like there's like unless something changed, there's like no way to actually continue it.
Gotcha.
But,
okay.
I do feel like we would probably get something in that vein though.
Okay. Good to know. I mean, obviously, I'm not there yet, so right now, current plan is I'm going to do the rest of the main content, probably minus the final boss, and then do the DLC and then the final boss, because I kind of just want to wrap it up in a neat little bow. I did look it up, though. It appears that this the Demon King achievement is glitched, and that one of the things people have said has worked to fix the problem is to take pyromancies out of your inventory, like put them in your storage box, and then take them back out, and apparently that fixes it. It makes it pop. I don't know. I'm going to try it for sure, because, I mean, like, with where I'm at right now, I think it's actually not impossible for me to get all the achievements. Well, obviously it's not impossible. One thing I was wondering about, is New Game Plus required for all the achievements?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, because of the additional ending or endings.
Not just that, but there are a couple spells that you need for getting all the spells or something like that, or the miracles and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're only found in New Game Plus and or New Game Plus 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, then I probably will not be aiming for all the achievements, but we'll see. I'm not sure if I really want to do more than one New Game Plus, at least not right away. As it stands right now, I'm leaning more towards when I finish all the stuff in the base game and, the DLC, I probably won't be playing any Souls games for a while, or at least not like actual Souls games. I'd probably go back to like Jedi Survivor, but I think I just want to play something that's just completely different. Go back to like a turn-based RPG, or maybe even just play something that I haven't really been all that into before, like Triangle Strategy, something like that, or maybe grab one of the short RPGs I have, like Live Alive, or however you pronounce it. Because I've had that one for a while and basically only played like maybe 10 minutes of it. And I've heard it's amazing and short, which are both good things, so. But yeah. Okay.